Hey, what's up guys? It's Neil Zaza, and welcome to my home studio. This is where, as they say, all the magic happens. And I am recording a new project this year, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to show you how sort of my process works, how I use the PreSonus Faderport 8 along with Studio One 3. Now, since I started using them together, it's been a seamless transition, and it's made my whole work process and flow really fast, easy, and ultimately when I don't have to think of right brain and left brain, all the little peculiarities of everything, it really makes it a lot more musical. So let me take you through some of this stuff. I want to start by saying I kind of went old school in a way a while back. I did something which seems kind of insanely crazy. When I was mixing a song a few years ago, I realized I was hearing with my eyes, and the danger in that is you're always glued to the screen and you're looking at the grids and you're looking at the waveforms and you're hearing, but you're not really listening because it seems like the two senses are fighting each other. And so what I did one time is I actually turned my monitor off, my computer monitor, and I just did the crazy thing. I just listened with my ears. I listened to music with my ears. Crazy, huh? And I can tell instantly I heard things that I hadn't heard before because I was seeing them with my eyes, if that makes any sense. So from that point on, I've always been a real old school guy in terms of, you know, when I'm tracking, I will look at the screen and you know, kind of do my workflow like that. But when it actually comes to dealing with anything with sound or mixing or levels or EQ, compression, anything like that, I really want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I want it there if I need to check a level or something like that, but I want to go old school. It's my phrase for this thing. So in this, the Faderport 8 has really enabled me to get down to making music. Not just not looking at the screen and having a tactile relationship with the faders, but actually quick workflows, seeing different things, and we'll get into that in a second. But I'm going to take you through my process with the Faderport 8. Now there's a lot of incredible, informative videos out there online regarding the Faderport 8. So I'm not going to do an in-depth feature. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you my player's perspective as to some of the cool things that I really like about it, how it improves my workflow, and how it just makes things fast, easy, and musical. So are you ready? Let's do it. All right, welcome to the cockpit. This is where all the magic happens. You know, I always wanted to be on an episode of Cribs, and I always want to say, oh, this is where the magic happens, but this is where all the magic happens. So I think every shot in this video, I'm just going to whip out that line, this is where the magic happens. But in any case, I digress. This is where the work happens, and I want to show you guys exactly when I'm recording what this all looks like, you know, ergonomically, where everything is placed. Because everything is placed for a reason. Now, when you're recording, you should be comfortable, you should have a nice vibe. There should be nothing impeding a good performance or, you know, getting in your mind or anything like that. So I don't want to think where anything is, I just want to reach for it. For me, this is what works out really well. So you'll see I have my guitar because I record guitar all the time here. So I'm sitting here with the guitar, pull the pick out of the console, and I'm doing my thing. Really, my right hand is always going to be working on this pick and the mouse, all right? What I'll do then is between takes, my left hand then is free to go and work on the Faderport 8, you know, start the transport, stop the transport, do any kind of little tweaks on it. And then right in front of me, I have the Mac keyboard right here. I have my Softube Console 1, which incidentally is great that PreSonus Studio One 3 allows native DAW access to it. And then I actually started out with the initial single Faderport, but I still use this for a little bit of tweaking as I might be, doing some stuff in the software, and I just need a quick little tweak with one fader or just a start and a stop thing. So this is kind of an ancillary Faderport, but here's where all the real work gets done. and I can adjust all my sends, I can adjust all my, we'll get into that. But this is what it all looks like. I have the two Slate Ravens. One side is the mixer, one side is the edit window. Off camera, what you might not see, I have a PreSonus central station that I can adjust my speakers, switch speakers, and do some volume adjustments. So let's get to the details. All right, let's take a look at the transport area real quick, because this is where, wait for it, this is where all the magic happens. I'm a man of my word. I promised I was going to use it in every segment, so there it is. In any case, the transport section, while it's simple, it has a few cool features that I really, really love. So obviously play, stop, play, and pause. Now what's really cool about that is, coming from Pro Tools, I'm used to the command of when you stop the transport, it goes back to the starting point. In PreSonus Studio 1 3, that's an option that you can choose, and I have that set. So if I press play, and I press stop, it goes right back to the beginning. What's really cool about this is you get, as Van Halen would say, you get best of both worlds. So play, stop, play, pause. And it can continue on right from that section once you hit play again. And in case you didn't know, we're going to be listening to a little bit of a demo I'm doing using the Harry Potter theme. So Harry Potter fans rejoice, right? We have, if you can see on the screen right now, the scroll, which is really nice. So if I'm in the process of actually doing a mix, I can keep flying back. Reverse and forward. And of course, if you hit both of them at the same time, RTZ, which is really, really nice. And of course, loop, which is really great. If you look on the screen, if I hit, and I'm a big arranger track guy. I love these, using the different features that the arranger track affords. So I'm here, and maybe I'm recording. I want multiple takes on something, or maybe I'm just mixing a section by section. Loop right there. So there it is. So there's a transport section. Okay, let's take a look at the navigation section. Obviously, looking at it, there's a lot of self-explanatory things like the click obviously turns on the click. Let's take a listen. It's actually my favorite button, I have to tell you. But a lot of things keep the workflow going very fast for me. So let's take a look. The Faderport 8 does not have a dedicated master fader. But what happens, and it's on another monitor right now, but if I hit master, this encoder wheel will actually adjust the master fader. And if I press it in, it totally blanks out to 0. So that's a real nice feature. I am a huge arranger track user in Studio 1 3. I don't even know how I survived living all these years on this earth without that feature. Just being able to move different sections of the tune and rearrange, it's not even game changing, it's life changing for me. But in that, now what I can do is I could quickly go between sections if I'm kind of going through the song. So that is such a time saver for me. And also sometimes I'll use it to audition arrangements, in that maybe I'm playing the song and I'll quickly scroll back to another thing just to hear what it sounds like. So I think that's a great thing. The marker button, total time saver to me. First, as you're playing, if you pop the encoder button down, you're going to get a new marker. Now what's cool with that then is if I use these left and rights, it's an instant way to go through all the different markers very quickly. Again, keeping the hands off the mouse, on the guitar, and keeping it moving really, really fast. So in scroll mode, I'm kind of bouncing around here a little bit. Scroll mode, obviously, it does exactly what it says. It's scrolling. If I went to zoom, we get that. If I use the encoder knob, and if I use the left and right, we get the that view right there. So it's very, very easy. Channel moves the different channels up and down. Bank is, as you would think, it'll bank me every 8. So it's very easy. It's very quick. I could move around very fast in this. Now, if you instantiate this shift button, now you're going to get different views that are just, quick shortcuts. So F1's inspector. Here's the edit window real quick. F3, the mixer. And there we get the browse window effects. I think this one's, this is the cool one. This one brings up the scratch pad, which, again, game-changing, but we're not for this video. So in any case, the navigation section keeps things moving very, very fast for me. Okay, let's take a look at the mixer section. Obviously, we have some faders in front of us, and we know what to do with those. I want to take a look at this strip right here, though, first, because this is a great way to organize your faders when you're tracking or mixing. What I love about it is you can see exactly what you want to see on the Faderport 8. So, for instance, obviously, these are audio tracks, and you can see what audio tracks are up here in the display. But maybe I just want to see my virtual instruments, VI. So now, here's all of my virtual instruments right here. I'm a big busing guy, and then I like to bus all my tracks to a selected bus and then maybe to a sub to the master. So if I want to mix in using stems or buses, this is a great way to mix too. So for instance, here's all my drums, leads, here's rhythm guitars, drums, some bass. Or I could look at it right through virtual instruments. So here's my drums, Superior 3. Or if I want to just deal with all my audio, here's all my audio tracks. One, for instance, is the rhythm guitar. Of course, standard solo and mute, but again, it's very fast. And of course, one of my favorite kind of tracks are VCA tracks that can control the volume and different information of other tracks. So I have one VCA for all of my buses. And so I always keep a VCA on the amalgamation of all my buses, because then if things are getting too hot, then I can bring all the buses down as not to overload the master. So for instance, so now I'm not touching the master, but I'm just bringing all my buses of different instruments up and down on this VCA. And of course, I only have one VCA, so I have one track. If I want to look at just my outputs, shift, outputs. Or maybe you have a bunch of different inputs coming in, and you want to know where a certain signal is coming in from. You would shift, and you go right to input. So very easy, very intuitive, and it's a very clean way to work for me, because sometimes I don't want all these tracks and I have to bank through everything, and it's I can see what I want to see when I want to see it. So normally if I'm mixing, once I get everything together in the audio section and maybe the virtual instruments section, then I just bus those to some aux tracks, and then I can actually mix with a stem approach. So it's a great way to go. All right, let's take a look at this upper section, because there's a lot of magic going on in this section. First of all, if you hit arm, you could arm any track or disarm any track, just you get the recording going there. There's no dedicated pan knobs per channel, but PreSonus actually did something even cooler than that. So if you select a track, let's say this bass track, and you hit pan right here, so you have some options that you can do. So one, you have this encoder knob over here, and you'll see that as I turn it, it goes left and right. And if I press down on it, it detents and it centers it again. But a lot of magic going on right here, because it also gives you the pan on the fader, which is really nice. So as you go, you can get all your pans, and you can see at a glance what everyone is doing pan-wise. Now I'm going to just center these back out here, just by having a quick look there. So that's a really nice feature. It really makes things work fast for me. I use sends a lot, whether they're going to be sends for effects or sends for headphones. In any case, I use the send feature a lot in my DAW. So what you'll do is select a track and just hit sends. So now you'll see, this is the bass track. I have two sends on this. One is effects 1 and one is effects 2. So I can adjust the levels of those sends, and if you can see on the screen, it's going on right there. It is adjusting that. Or you could take kind of a macro view of it, so to speak, and I can hit the sends button one more time. Now I can see a layout of all the different tracks that have that are sharing that effects 1 send, and I can just adjust whatever I need. And of course, another hit on the sends. Now I'm in effects 2. So it's so easy to use these send features, especially with on the Faderport 8, and get really quick headphone mixes. If I'm working with some people in the studio, they need phones, I could dial in something really, really quick, and we're off and recording. So pan sends, the track feature. You see you have a nice readout of what's getting signal right there. Love it. Okay, in the beginning of the video, I was talking about going old school and actually doing the craziest thing, which is not looking at the screen and listening to the music, hearing what all the effects, what they sound like, rather than the cool interface that they look like. And I really think this really helps out making the best music and getting the best mix possible. So in that, with the Faderport 8, you can edit and adjust all the different plugin parameters right from using the faders right here. I think it's one of the coolest features and one of the most musical features of using a Faderport 8. So let's dive in here. So I have up, well, here's the mix. Are you feeling little Hogwarts going on there, little Harry Potterism? All right, in any case, let's look at the drums. Drums are here, and if I want to edit the plugin, all I do is go right up here, edit plugin, and you'll see it pops up on the screen. And what it shows initially when it comes up is what plugins are on the track. And you can choose. I have a Console 1 plugin and I have a compressor on this one, just for a quick demo example. So I'm going to choose compressor. Now this is one of the built-in compressors, built-in effects that come with Studio One 3, so it's already pre-mapped. It's so easy. You just choose it, and now look at everything is already mapped out. All the parameters and all the on-off buttons and everything are already ready to go. So if I want to adjust threshold, and I'm not sure if there's some glare, if you can see the beautiful readout here, but if you can't, trust me, that's a threshold. Ratio, knee, and all the different parameters are really easily assignable. They're already assigned to the faders. So if we heard, so perfect. So again, I'm looking at the Faderport 8. I'm not looking at the screen. I'm choking this drum. Okay, so there it is. Really easy. If you want to adjust any other, we'd go in and we would just go down the line as to go to the track and the plugin that we want to edit. So that's native plugins that come with Studio One 3. But of course, all of us have third-party plugins, and we should be able to use those as well. Very easy to map. We won't get into that process, but really, if I could do it, anyone can do it. You literally have to move a fader and say adjust this parameter. So it's very easy. But let's see what that looks like. So I'm going to go to rhythm guitar, and we'll go. I'm going to solo that out. And if I do edit plugin, now I have a few different things on here: tuner, bias effects, and CLA guitars. And so let's choose that. So as you can see on the actual screen, which I'm not looking at, I can adjust any of the parameters via fader. So here we go. If I want a little bit more bass, I find this compression that you use, it pushes it up really, really nice. So a little reverb, whatever it is. But you see how easy it is to go ahead and edit a plugin. It's not a big deal. Again, I'm coming back to it, I'm repeating it. I'm repeating two things in this video. One is, this is where all the magic happens. And two is, we want to go old school, we want to use our ears. And this is exactly what it's good for. So that's editing plugins strictly with the Faderport 8. Okay, so it's time to mix. And I want to keep my eyes off the screen. I want to listen to the music. And I just want to deal with the faders on the Faderport 8 and the different automation modes. And I'm going to show you how quick and easy this is. So if we're rolling a track here, I'm just going to show you, we're going to automate some of the rhythm guitar right now. So I have selected rhythm guitar, and obviously all the automation modes are right here. So it's in off right now. So I'm going to just hit it on touch. And what's cool is I can switch this as I'm mixing. So if I want to go to latch, which I'll do later in a second here, I can just do it very quickly. I don't have to reach for the mouse and go into the software at all. So now I'm in touch mode, and let's play. So now, of course, as you can see, everything is moving in the DAW, moving here, it's all automated. I'm going to adjust my pan. But here's what I love about this, is now that I'm mixing, I'm going to go back a little bit. And I want to listen. Maybe I didn't like that. So I'm going to go back. I have these cues, the forward and rewind, and now I just pick it back up, and it's seamlessly, I could have a go at it. I keep having a go at it. So let's see, that was okay. Let's try it again. Now obviously I'm missing the cues, but you get the idea that I can keep going back and forth because I have these cues for rewind and fast forward. Now I was gonna mix, let me go back a little bit, but I want it in latch mode. I want the volume to stay at one level after I adjust it. So I grab it mid-flight here, and it's just gonna stay. The beauty of latch mode, right? Go back, I'll hit that pan again. But again, I'm not watching the screen, I'm mixing, I'm listening for what I want. And that's that. Now I just put it on read, it's sort of locked in. Now it's just gonna, from now on, every time it plays, it's just gonna follow my automation cues. Which is horrible, by the way, and was just merely for example, not indicative of my mixing skill. But the important thing, again, we're mixing, we're looking at faders, we're not looking at the screen, we're listening to what everything we're doing actually takes effect. We're listening to the final effect, what it sounds like in the music. And with this cue system here, these quick rewind and fast forwards, I can keep going over a section, I can really tweak it in really, really good. So mixing has never been easier than with the Faderport 8. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a little bit more about my process and how I use the PreSonus Faderport 8 and PreSonus Studio One 3 to get my workflow done and my music made. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.